Billy Jack music.
One Tin Soldier, theme from Billy Jack by the original cast on Amazon Music.
Let it roll out for a minute. Good evening, everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Here we are live. Back in the day, and if you listen to the background music, hopefully you know what we're going to be talking about tonight.
That is One Tin Soldier by the band Coven from the surprise hit film Billy Jack, which was just like 74. It was just like if you hadn't seen Billy Jack, you better not go to school, because that's all everybody could talk about. That would have been ninth grade for me, and going outside and everybody going, "I'm gonna kick you on this side of your face with this foot. There's nothing you can do about it." And then they'd actually kick you. But yeah, Billy Jack, and that's a movie that Tom Laughlin, who wrote and directed it under the pseudonym T.C. Frank, he did what they called four-walling. And what he would do is he would take the film to a city, to a theater, and he would say, "I will give you," let's say back then, we'll say, "I give you $500 and I have your theater for a week." And he would play it, and he'd get all the money in the box office. The theater would make the concession money, but he got everything out of the box office. And that thing just made millions because it just took off.
Smart guy there.
Hey, Keith. We're talking about that.
Speaking of smart guys, look at this guy. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Nate? Nate, I want to thank you for that playbill, man. I really appreciate that.
Oh, hey, listen, my pleasure, buddy. When you have a little extra wealth, you spread it around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Mike, thank you for all the movies you send me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we got some good welcomes here. We got good evening, Nate and Michael.
Here. I forgot to bring up the comments on my phone, it seems. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Oh, man. Doing great. Great week. Nice weather. Weather finally broke here. I'm loving things. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good week. How about you?
Oh, nice. It's supposed to get hot again this weekend.
Like nasty. Yeah.
Like in the 90s.
Yes. I was telling Mike right before he came on, some of the local school districts here that have buildings that have air conditioning here, it's supposed to hit mid to upper 90s. They are already talking about going virtual a day or two next week on account of the heat wave because of no air conditioning.
Wow.
So we were reflecting on how it never got too hot to go to school when we were kids,
Keith, they're up in, did you have a lot of snow days up in Detroit, the Detroit area?
Because it's Michigan, it has to be like at least maybe 5 or 6 inches before they even think about closing schools.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they're tough up there.
Right.
That's right.
Places like Atlanta, if it's just 2 inches of snow, that's when they'll.
Well, the year I moved to Tampa, there was literally a dusting, and I remember on the news that day, somebody had written Tampa in the dust on a windshield, but they let everybody out of school.
Nice. Mike, you got a glare or something.
I was going to say, is it me or am I? Oh, it's because the sun's going.
Looks like the sun.
Okay.
Looks like the sun, buddy.
I looked up and I was like, oh my God, I'm like Marty McFly's picture. I'm fading away here.
Oh, erased from existence.
I need other people on here.
I thought
if
you had
I
a halo.
Stare at myself all night, it's going to be a rough one, guys. Come on.
I thought you had a halo. Fake Mike.
Oh, I know why. Because Because the sun is. So I'm going to sit here with my arm up. Maybe I won't look like I have my arm up.
There you go.
The sun is coming through the side of the blind, and it's
Uh-huh.
going.
Oh,
It's directly on my camera.
Hmm.
So I'm not.
call you.
I'm
gonna
not.
call you Kal-El for a second.
Yeah, I'm not asking permission. I'm not asking permission to use the bathroom. I just got my hands up.
Uh,
See if I can hold something up to block that.
Hey Mike, I go through the same thing. My house faces the sunsets, so I have to close my blinds if I don't want the light to come in.
Yeah, we get the afternoon sun at my place. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Extremely
Every
bright.
winter day is a snow day in Toronto.
Yeah.
Man,
That is-
I would think that they would be used to that. Like they would be able to handle that pretty well. But that must be Vic. Yeah.
I would think they would because it's it's in the northern hemisphere, right?
I mean, I would assume so. Although I went to college out in Western Pennsylvania, we dealt with lake effect snow from Lake Erie, and I thought, these people are going to be well equipped. No, it was no better than where I'm from.
No.
So to be perfectly honest with you, and they got way more snow than we get. So got a bunch of people chiming in, throwing some haze back and forth to each other. Always cool to see. A little bit of camaraderie there. Saying Robert, saying hello to Vic. Yeah. What we got here? Yep. Hey guys, my last time being able to join before college. Robert, well, I'm glad you're hanging out with us, buddy.
All right.
And as of this week, you should be able to view this stuff on YouTube. We should be kicking over to YouTube. Had to kind of go through and start a new account, do some other things. So that should be an option, Robert. So and rest of you guys, so keep it up. You can hop on there and check it out. The shows, you can still scroll down and catch any of the shows. I've gone back and watched some of the other shows, and they're still on the pages, but they should be available on YouTube. So, well, without further ado, I guess we'll have to kick it off here, right?
Yeah. Is Martin joining us? Is Martin joining us?
Not to my knowledge. Yeah, I can send him a link.
James is here. James Scott, Robert, Victor.
Victor's
always on.
Victor. You got any tough guys in England besides James Bond? That's everybody's go-to.
Uh-huh.
Who else? Who else?
What about Cavill? Would he be like a modern tough guy? He's done what? Superman. He's done Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he did Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got some English actors, but I'm talking about English characters. English are taking over the superhero world. Spider-Man's British, Batman was British, Superman was British,
and pretty much like 90% of the Star Wars people were British. You know what I mean? Because they were all shot in sound studios over there. Everyone had a British accent. I grew up thinking all the bad guys were British. No offense, Robert.
Carrie Fisher tells a story at the very beginning when she's talking to Peter Cushing. I guess she went to school in England, and she kind of like Madonna. She kind of picked up the accent, and so that sequence with Peter Cushing, and Darth Vader, where I smelled your foul stench when I came on board. She goes, yeah. She goes, I was just subconsciously English because everybody else around me was, and I guess George Lucas said, hey, no accents in space.
No accents,
everybody else was English. So,
what do we got? Sherlock Holmes is a tough guy.
Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I guess
the Guy Ritchie version, but come on, Basil Rathbone.
Right. Yeah, the Guy Ritchie. Yeah. That was Robert Downey Jr. Right?
Yeah.
TV show Benedict Cumberbatch. Come on, he can't be tough with a last name like Cumberbatch, though he is Doctor Strange. So
but he was tough in one of those Star Trek movies. What was that?
he was. Well, the big secret, he was Khan.
He was
Spoiler
Khan, yeah.
alert. Spoiler alert. Everybody knew 2 years before the movie came out. Don't tell anyone he's Khan.
He's Khan.
Don is here. Hi,
Hey,
Donna.
we got Donna on. Hello, Donna. Good to see you back
Hey,
on.
Donna.
Talked to her the other day. She seems to be, slowly getting better, coming around a little bit. So that's good to hear. Hope she continues. So
I actually watched Star Trek Into Darkness last night. So
no kidding.
That's good. I love the Calvin timeline. I love all 3 of those movies.
yeah.
I was never a huge Star Trek guy. I enjoyed the movies. Never much got into the TV shows. I mean, I know I was a little on the young side, but they were in syndication when I was growing up, and I was always more the Star Wars fan.
I grew up with the original series, and I still watch that. I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes of The Next Generation, and I haven't seen any of the ones after that. But in my defense, and Keith will attest to this, when you're a movie theater manager, you don't watch a lot of TV because
Absolutely.
you're working when TV's on. So
Absolutely.
we used to when Amazing Stories and Twilight Zone were on in the 80s, I used to record everything over the weekend, and then on Sunday night we'd all get off work, get pizzas, stop at a gas station that still sold the 8-ounce glass bottles of Coke, and we go to my house and we'd watch whatever we missed for the weekend. But yeah, we didn't get a lot of TV.
Absolutely. I agree.
I don't get much of it now. I mean, I catch a half hour of the local news, and as soon as the local news is off or done, I'm turning it off. Number 1, number 2, I try and get a workout in right, before I go to work, and then the only other time I catch TV is late at night, and I'm either on YouTube or I'm watching. I have a movie on in the background while I'm doing schoolwork, and that's it. I just don't do much of it. So yeah.
Yeah. TV has never really interested me. When it comes to TV, there's probably one show, and I have them on DVD that I can have my own marathon with. Is Twilight Zone. I love the Twilight Zone. That's really and an episode or 2 of Sanford and Son. But other than that, I've never really been a TV. It's always cinema. Like Mike was saying, when you work in a theater, and that's what I mean. It excites you. The theater excites you. So
yeah.
And I spent a lot of time at the theaters when I wasn't working, especially when you get to see them for free.
Yeah, my last foray with TV, my son was very young, and I would be doing things with him. I'm talking baby, and like Family Guy would be on, like I don't know if it was Comedy Central or whatever it was, and so I would catch an episode of that, and then right after that was The Office, and The Office was in like season 2 or 3 at the time, and I was not a fan of The Office. I was aware of it, but I would just let it on because it was on in the background, and I was slowly drawn to it, and started watching it more and more, and just got drawn in and got caught into the characters, and then I started to enjoy it. And for the first month, I don't even think I laughed at it. You just kind of were soaking it in, and then I became by season 4, I was hooked on it. My wife would same deal. She'd watch. She'd go, I don't know why you watch this stupid show. It is the most boring show. And sure enough, she got sucked in as well. And I mean, we watched it right through to the end. And when it was on Netflix, I'd go back like once a year, twice a year, start to finish. In my opinion, humble opinion, because I don't watch much TV, the best comedy that's been on in the last probably 25 years.
It's on Comedy Central now pretty much every day. And we'll watch it. I think it was like 2 years ago we started watching The Office. We missed it during its run, but it's addictive, and and I always say I think that Jim and Pam are like one of the greatest TV romances ever written, because it nothing was forced and everything was,
Yeah. It all started as a movie, didn't it? Then it started as Office Space, right?
No, it was a TV series over in England.
Okay.
Ricky Gervais was really a acerbic boss, but it was basically, the same characters. Instead of Jim, they had Tim over there, and all Tim did basically is somebody would say something, and Tim would like look into the camera. But Office Space, though, that's a show in itself we should do. Office Space movie.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Movie number one, tough guy, was Clint Eastwood. I don't know who
Clint
said that.
Eastwood.
Whoever said that, my new best friend just
Clint
posted that. I'm
Eastwood.
telling you right
Victor.
there. Thank you, Victor.
My favorite tough guy.
My man.
Didn't he and
You
Burt
betcha.
Reynolds do a tough? What was it called?
City Heat,
City Heat.
Yes.
directed
It-
by Richard Benjamin.
Uh huh.
It was Prohibition era, I guess, movie.
Yeah,
Gangster
yeah.
30s, yeah. Yep.
That was like the big movie of 84.
Was it 80?
Right.
It's 83 or 84. One of them.
84, because I just started. I started full-time movie theaters in May of 84, and then they opened a new fourplex, and I got picked to be the manager. And we had that on 2 screens. We had Superman. We had Supergirl on 2 screens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Burt and Clint.
Burt Clint.
Well, hey, since we're on Clint, I tried to throw some stuff together here, but sorry, I guess we're going to have to talk about Clint for a minute or two here. Huh? 1984, it was a flop. I do remember that movie being a flop. There was a couple Eastwood movies that just never did well, but I always loved the fact that he didn't take a movie and do it because he knew it was going to sell. He took it because he enjoyed the story. He liked the writing of it, and did well. And
well, he had a deal. He had a deal with the Warner Brothers. He would do a movie that they wanted, like Every Which Way But Loose, I see, or Pale Rider, or The Rookie, or like the 12th Dirty Harry film. And then they would finance something he wanted to do, like Bronco Billy or White Hunter Black Heart. And that was fine. And then they dumped Unforgiven in the second week of August, thinking, okay, here's another one of Clint's movies that nobody will go see. And then all of a sudden, he didn't have to do, the bad cop, crazy action films anymore. He could do Mystic River, and he could do $1 Million Baby and Flags of Our Father and Letters from Iwo Jima. He could do what he wanted to do. He didn't have to, do a picture for them and one for him, because once Unforgiven got all that Oscar cred, all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, Clint Eastwood's such a great director." Yeah, he was for 20 years.
Yeah, late 70s, he was a great director. I mean, he directed Outlaw Josie Wales. I mean, I think was his first one like The Beguiled or Play Misty for Me.
Play Misty for Me was his first director.
Really?
Yeah. That's a creepy movie too.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, all my favorite. He's number one, and he was around way before me. But as a little kid, my stepdad would play he loved Eastwood. He loved the old spaghetti westerns, and so I grew up catching all of them and just completely fell in love with it. And the movies that were out when I was a kid, Outlaw Josie Wales, Any Which Way You Can, Any Which Way You Can But Loose, all those films, just incredible films. The Dirty Harry films. I mean, come on. I mean, who doesn't know a line?
My dad bought those big shades like Dirty Harry wears. Every time I went to the drive-in, as if it was a new Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, Steve McQueen film. So
that's I didn't really get into Clint Eastwood until like in the 80s with Every Which Way But Loose, Any Which Way But Loose, and Any Which Way You Can. And I guess that's I guess there was a trilogy of them.
They were funny.
Yeah, they were funny. They were fun, and they were funny. They were funny.
It was definitely the lighter side of some of his movies. He was always the anti-hero, the man with no name, and they definitely had a little twist on. Like, the family could, for the most part, watch those movies back in the 70s. I mean, what was the worst that happened? Like the bikers would show up to beat up Philo Bedlow, and they would get dipped in the hot tank of tar, or he'd knock the motorcycles over. Or he'd knock 5 of them out and throw them in a dumpster outside the diner and go in and finish his meal. There was never anything really bad that happened or dark for the most part.
A tough guy. I don't know if you got a picture of him in this. The guy he fought in Any Which Way You Can, William Smith.
Yes,
he had
a picture of him, but yes,
he did a lot of biker movies. and he was in The Outsiders, and he was in Red Dawn. He was always struck me as just a badass. He's like somebody I would never want to make mad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got Universal didn't pay Eastwood to direct Play Misty for me in '71. He just paid to ACR.
Yeah, because he wanted to do it. He wanted to be a director, and they said, "Well, you can do it, but you got to do it. Got to do it on your own dime."
I remember my first Dirty Harry movie was The Gauntlet. That's when I got to know the Dirty Harry. Even before I saw The Gauntlet, even before Magnum Force, even before some of his early Dirty Harry movies. But Gauntlet was my first one with I think what's the girl Sandra
Locke.
Sandra Locke.
Wow.
The only bad thing with Clint Eastwood is he dates an actress. He's got to stick him in his movies. So
Yes.
like Sandra Locke did like The Gauntlet and
She was Every Which Way But
Sudden
Loose.
Impact.
yeah, the two Every Which Way But Loose, Sudden Impact.
The Gauntlet. What else did she do? She did
it
a
was,
handful of them.
It was just yeah.
She and Bronco Billy too.
She was just really annoying. And then he got her a deal to direct a movie called Rat Boy, and then they broke up, and it must have been a terrible breakup because he pulled every string he had at Warner Brothers, and that movie played like on one screen for like 25 minutes. Never directed again, and I got to hang out when Robert Townsend was promoting Hollywood Shuffle. I got to spend the day with him, and he was in Rat Boy. And we talked about it, and he said, "Yeah, everything looked good." He goes, and then she pissed Clint off, and I was like, "Ah, man, I'm sorry." But yeah,
she pissed Clint off. Oh,
and he was one that when I see Adam Sandler movies, I often think of Clint Eastwood because surrounded himself with actors who he liked. You saw the same people from movie to movie, even across genre.
Yeah.
The wrestler that tried to overtake outlaw Josie Wales at the one trading post that he ended up shooting happened to be the same one who was his sidekick in the first Dirty Harry movie. And they went into the field, and they went to the football field to get him, and he's walking through it. He says, "Hey, what do you want me to do? I'm going to get him." And he said something like, "Why don't you take a walk, fatso?" Same guy, So always surrounded himself with the same actors all the time.
Same crew. He's kind of like Spielberg, because Spielberg, once he got into a rhythm, Joe Alves was supposed to do 1941, but he begged off to do Jaws 2 because they gave him a associate producer credit. But he'd still, a lot of the people that, the same cinematographer, same film editor, Spielberg, you get that crew that you're comfortable with.
Right.
Eastwood, you ever see his movies, you could just reproduce the credits from his last movie because it's all the same.
I think Scorsese is even does it even more with Leonardo DiCaprio. He's his new front man now. But in the past, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, the same group of Italians will be in all his movies.
No offense, but I dislike Adam Sandler with a passion. I just can't watch a single one of his films.
Really?
Oh.
I love Waterboy.
Waterboy?
I think he's a lot of good stuff.
And his, not Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, and Uncut Gems from a couple years ago.
Yeah,
he's really grown into a
fabulous movie.
Yeah, he's grown into a really competent actor. So give him a chance, Robert. Give him a chance.
His newest movie that was on, I can't remember if it was on Max or what, where he's the Philly basketball coach.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was a good movie too. What was it called?
I'm not even a basketball fan. That was incredible. I mean, really, nothing against you, Robert. I think he had a lot of great films. However, he kind of got into that, I don't want to say a rut, but he was doing the same type of movie. And unfortunately, it became really popular to not be a fan of his. Even movies that kind of tanked, like, what was it, like Daddy's Boy or whatever.
Yeah, little
I don't
Nicky.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some enjoyment to them. I thought so. Yeah, it seems to be coming back around again. So
Well, Adam Sandler made our website.
Yeah.
Media Mike's is successful because of Adam Sandler. Because down inside I'm a 13-year-old boy. I was the only Rotten Tomatoes certified critic to give Jack and Jill a positive review. It was 2.5 stars, and I could have gone either rotten or fresh, but I gave it fresh. And it got so bad that Rotten Tomatoes stopped letting people comment on my post. But we ended up on Sirius Radio. We ended up on E-Television, and all of a sudden, we went from 3,000 views a week to 30,000. So, Adam Sandler, if you're watching, thank you. I owe you lunch.
all right.
What about Happy Gilmore? Oh, hilarious!
Oh, you're kidding? It's incredible.
Hilarious.
Great film. Come on.
That fight with him and Bob Barker.
That's what's been popping up. With Bob Barker passing away, that's the same clip that's popped up on a million different sites,
Price is wrong, bitch. Yeah. There's Stallone. Right. Body fat.
Yeah, we got to talk about Stallone. And I tried to throw some collages together, pictures or collages I could find, and unfortunately, I kept reviewing back ones when I grew up, and for the most part that we grew up. But I did try and throw some others in there, so his names come up. I'll just pull them up. So Stallone, and the obvious here is Rocky. I just recently, in the last year or so, I think what was his first, I want to say, big production film. And I can't even remember the name of it, but he was, leather jacket, greaser kind of look, and it was him
Lords of Flatbush.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him and Henry Winkler and Perry King.
Yes. And boy, you see where the Fonz came from, right? I mean, holy cow! I mean, that wasn't a stretch. But I just saw that, and he was kind of played he was kind of like the Opie kind of tough guy. Didn't seem real intelligent, but
Henry Winkler tells a story that they did Lords of Flatbush, and then Stallone decided to move to L.A. And Henry Winkler had just like the second year of Happy Days, and Fonz was a breakout star, and Stallone gave him a script that he had written to see if Henry Winkler could sell it, and he took it to ABC, and ABC bought it, and they said, "Yeah, but we're gonna have to rewrite it. We got to lose the writer." And he went and told Stallone that, and Stallone said, "No, I wrote that. That's my script, my property." And Henry Winkler went back to ABC and said, I'll give you your money back. I need you to give me that script back. And they were like, "Yeah, we don't do that." And then he said, "Hope season 3 of Happy Days does well without the Fonz." And they gave him the script back, and that script was Rocky.
Wow.
So
no kidding.
ABC was going to make a TV movie out of Rocky. So
wow.
Yeah.
And that whole series to this day just holds weight. I mean, I'm from, Pennsylvania. I grew up 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. I mean, my brother, still his favorite film series of all time. I got a quick, not so good Rocky story though. So I go down to Philadelphia, I don't know, 3 years ago to run the Philly Marathon. It happened to be a Sunday, which was the same day as an Eagles game. There was best marathon ever. There was 1 million people there cheering. I don't know how many were sober, but they were cheering their asses off for you. You went by. We started and finished the race at the art museum. And of course, top of the stairs is where the Rocky. Do you know that they roped it off and they wouldn't let us run the damn stairs after the marathon?
I've run the steps because Baltimore is like an hour and a half drive to Philly. I've run the steps. I've done the little.
I've run them before.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of a marathon, all you want to do is run up and be Rocky. They denied us. You believe that crap?
That should be where the marathon ends. That should be the last 300 feet up the steps.
Yeah. If you can't finish, you fall down the steps, you fail. You're out of there. Get out.
Oh man, that would suck. Couldn't even go up the steps and do
They
your.
had it all wrote down. That was during COVID. I don't know if that was part of it. Maybe they were worried about us getting too close
Oh
together, but
man.
whatever. Whatever.
You know what I seen with Sylvester Stallone? It was really, really good. I was really impressed with him. Was Copland. That
Yes,
movie was great.
I watched
And
that
that's a good
Saturday night.
meeting.
Like this show is about movies I've watched this week. Yes, he was so good and he held his own. I mean,
Yes.
because for somebody that gets, even though he's got 2 acting nominations, somebody who gets picked on for being one dimensional. I mean, go up there with Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta and Robert
Yes.
Patrick and all the other assorted people that were there. What a great film!
Yes.
Great film that was.
Yes.
He's not even playing a prolific character. I mean, he's a stumbling, bumbling, local
Yeah,
yokel.
he gained like 40 pounds, and he's just kind of slow and shuffling and just
Right.
thinking about the life he wanted.
He's quiet. He's shy. I mean, he really did a great job. He really played that part.
Robert's bringing up a little bit about Cobra there. He did a couple interesting cop films, Cobra being one of them. Of course, my favorite thing in Cobra is the 49 or 50 Merc
Yes.
lead sled,
Uh-huh.
slammed to the ground, Frenched
Uh-huh.
in headlights, nitrous button on the shifter. So when he goes in reverse, he hits a nitrous and backwards and mows everybody down. Yeah, good teenage memories, man. Yeah, so that was a good one. I got to say though, probably the one that hit me the most was Nighthawk. I loved that film as a kid.
Yes. Him and
Yeah.
Billy D and Rutger Hauer. Yeah.
That was like my introduction to Rutger Hauer as a villain.
Nighthawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nighthawk.
Yeah, great.
That
film.
yeah. That's good. That's good. Kind of took me back to Burt Reynolds' cop movie that came out right at the same time. Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he
Good
also
stuff.
directed. He directed that, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's another great film that nobody really seems to appreciate except us.
Yeah.
It's done well. Yeah, come on. I mean, you can take someone out with credit cards. You're a tough guy. I mean, come on, let's face it. Right?
Oh, I love that song though. That street life in that movie. Just always love that song by the Crusaders. But
Highest fall ever performed. Oh, that's when he went out the window of that skyscraper, isn't it? Sharky's Machine.
Yeah, that's Dar Robinson went out backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff. Even I gotta say, a guilty pleasure of mine. I guess he was a cop film, but it was Tango and Cash was a good film.
Yes.
yeah. Yes.
Entertaining. And,
A lot of comedy.
Stallone gets to say Rambo's a pussy.
Yeah.
Nice little in joke, and I remember watching it and people going, "Why is that so funny?" And it's like, "Oh Christ, you've never seen a Rambo film."
You never seen Rambo, right?
and Kurt Russell. And I've always thought, I wish that somebody would have offered Kurt Russell the chance to play Batman. I think
that was on the table, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he would have been a great. I think he would have been great as Batman.
He would have been.
He tried out for that. He tried out for Han Solo. I mean, he was on for a lot of stuff.
Could you imagine Kurt Russell as Batman?
I interviewed his son Wyatt about 10 years ago. And after the interview, I said, "This isn't part of the interview." I said, "I'm just curious. You know if they ever offered your dad Batman?" And he said, "No, I don't know." I'm like, no. I wanted to say, "Well, here's my number. Call and ask him." Yeah.
He would have put a heck of a spin on, like, I mean, when you think of Kurt Russell, he's smart ass, does it with a grin. That would have been an interesting twist. It would have been a Batman that we haven't seen before. Not so serious, but yeah. Or half crazy, to be honest with you.
I think he'd have been better than better choice than George Clooney.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, easily.
I finally watched The Flash. Have you guys seen it yet?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I about fell off my chair at the last scene of that. Am I right? Come on. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It was great though. I loved it. I thought it was great. Yep.
Yes.
That was
Keaton.
that film had so many Easter eggs.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't want to say too much. Did you see the one Superman that popped up towards the end?
Oh, Nick Cage.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That's a good sense of humor.
Mhm.
That's somebody at Warner Brothers having a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And the shot of I know Keith. I know I talked to Thomas Wagner about this when first they showed George Reeves, and in my mind I said, "Oh my God!" And then Christopher Reeve flew by, and I got all teary eyed. I was like, "Oh, if only." Yeah.
Yeah. And then right beside him was Supergirl. Who's that? Who played?
Oh, Helen Slater.
Oh, the blonde.
Helen Slater. Yeah.
Helen Slater.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man, that was a great throwback Easter egg. That was cool.
You know,
That was cool.
the film's taken a beating. I really enjoyed it.
I
Honestly, I thought it was done well.
I love it.
You know, it didn't have that like middle hour and a half dead spot like some of the Marvel films. You're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
let's get the
No,
real,
it was always, and I thought Ezra Miller was funny.
Me too. He was the best part of Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can tell what part of Justice League Josh Whedon directed as opposed to Zack Snyder.
Uh-huh.
He must have done all the Flash stuff because the Flash stuff was the best thing in Justice League.
Yeah. I love Ezra Miller. I love Ezra Miller.
He's good. I hope he gets his personal life together though. Sounds like he's having a rough go.
Yeah.
Really does. Well, hey, let's see who else we got rolling in here. Eastwood. Oh, we got to talk about this guy. Arnold. Tell me you guys have seen, and I don't know who's doing it, where they're imposing his face in other videos.
Yes.
And his voice. Oh my gosh. I saw him doing Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Someone the other day. It was hilarious.
The magic of AI. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but go ahead.
What's your favorite Arnold movie? You know what I watched the other night? I watched. I thought it was so much fun. It was True Lies.
Yeah, that would be up there.
That's
True Lies or Terminator 2.
Yeah.
If I had to go action, but I mean, I like Kindergarten Cop. I like Twins. I like the comedies. But yeah, probably True Lies all the way around because a lot of little action, little comedy.
Little comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of fans will go with Predator.
More Predator.
All
the politicians. You had two governors and a senator and a congressman. You had Jesse and Arnold, and you had his name just went on my head. The guy who played the Indian. Guy that was Billy Bear in
48 Hours.
48 Hours.
Sonny. What's his last name?
Sonny Latham.
Latham. Yeah.
Yes. Who used to be he was a porno actor in the 70s. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Billy Bear.
I had read up they were talking about when they were shooting the original Predator. They said that the amount of testosterone and the amount of protein that was being consumed on a daily basis made some of the sets damn near unbearable to be around.
Oh, I bet.
Because of the amount of flatulence that was being delivered on set. They said it was rough. Between that and some of the mix, they said it was a little rough. Yeah.
I could believe that.
Can't make that stuff up, guys. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, who did we have? You had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
Carl Weathers. You had Sonny Latham.
Jesse Ventura. Bill Duke. Bill Duke in that?
Bill Duke, yep. Yep, Bill Duke was, I'm going to have me some fun. Yeah.
And then the guy, Kevin something Williams, the guy that played the Predator, he's a huge guy too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
The original Predator.
Yeah. The original one.
Who's
He
the
also
original?
played Harry in the Hendersons. I think he played Harry,
Yeah,
but he's just a big old guy. Kevin somebody. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was the first Predator. And he either got fired or he left, and then they brought him on.
You know, I do remember hearing that. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen pictures like him with the headgear off. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know how long he was on, but he was the first one. Yeah, before they brought the other guy in. Yeah.
Wow.
I frightened Van Damme once. He was promoting Double Trouble, and he was signing posters. I was going to take some back to my staff, and I gave him my Sharpie, and he signed it, and he put the Sharpie in his pocket and walked away. And I said, "That's my Sharpie." And he kept walking. I went, "Hey!" And he turned around, and I said, "That's my Sharpie," and he handed it back to me. I saw the fear in his eyes. Yeah, yeah. Very nice man.
Yeah.
Handful of years ago, we got a couple comments here. Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of my favorite tough guys. And yeah, definitely playing Predator. So a handful of years ago, I say handful, it might have been 20 years ago. Do you remember the story? It was even on the news. He was in a local nightclub or something. I don't know where it was, Florida or somewhere. And somebody, I don't know, either mouthed off to him or he mouthed off to someone else and got into an altercation, and the other guy took him out.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was inebriated, something else, but I mean, you guys got like a real deal background, you know? Maybe just having a rough night. I don't know. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because we were all going, like, we wanted to see a picture of the guy that took down Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I know.
You know?
Is Kickboxer the one where he does the splits up on the kitchen counter? Yeah, on the chairs. Yeah.
Kickboxer, and then what was the other one? Bloodsport. Remember those?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to him. Yeah.
I think
split between the Volvo trucks.
I think Bloodsport was my introduction to Jean-Claude.
And who was I can't remember his name. He came back and he was the villain in the first Expendables film. He was in, wasn't he in Bloodsport? Had his hair back in a ponytail, a little bit taller guy.
Oh,
he was pretty big in the 80s.
No, not Dolph.
No, not Dolph.
Not the big Asian guy that he fights at the end of Bloodsport.
No, he was like, I want to say he was his, like one of his like buddies or partners, because I can't remember which one it was, because one of them, it was him. One of the other movies, his partner was that guy from Revenge of the Nerds.
Ogre.
Yeah. He was his partner in one of the movies too. I'm horrible. You guys are the fact people.
The guy from Karate Kid 3?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
Wasn't him.
Ponytail.
I'm terrible with names. He was pretty big in the early 80s, and then he kind of fizzled out, and he was the head villain in the first Expendables movie.
Well, let's look and see.
Yeah. I wish I was better with names. That you guys have your facts. I don't have them, but
the Expendables.
They're making another one, aren't they? They're making another.
Yes, they are. They're slated to do another one.
It's called Expendables, but the A is a 4 because Hollywood has no more new ideas.
You know what? We'll go see it anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, you kidding? Yeah. Not. You know, I gotta say though, highlight for the last one was seeing Wesley Snipes, and then Harrison Ford bringing the chopper in. Yeah. Oh, I mean,
I enjoyed that one.
David Zayas, maybe.
David Zayas.
Possibly.
I've only seen like the third. I've only seen like the third on an Expendables film. It's not Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Eric Roberts.
None of those guys.
Randy Couture, Steve Austin, David Zayas.
Cruz? No. I'll have to look it up and get back to you. But I remember him from a couple action films back in the 80s, and then he just kind of disappeared. I don't know, career just didn't pan out. I want to say he had one standalone movie where he was the main actor, and it was an action film, and I couldn't tell you who he is or what the movie was, but I do remember him. Yeah, tall, slender, well-built guy. Usually had his hair back in like a really short ponytail.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe maybe somebody at home can do a little digging for us here. Maybe Robert, Vic, somebody here.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody can dig something up for us. But yeah, very entertaining series. Speaking of tough guys, I mean, whoever was the brainchild behind the Expendables, and then bringing more on every film. I mean, that's ingenious. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. And every time, like you have your mainstays, but then they rotate other guys in just about every film. I
Mhm.
wish Eastwood did end up in the film. I know he's in his 90s. Put him behind a desk like they did, Harrison Ford or something, but just get him in there for like a couple seconds.
Because every action star has their niche audience. Even like Michael Dudikoff and the guy who plays Terry Silver in the Karate Kid on Cobra Kai. He did an action film, and they screened it like a double feature at a convention in Atlantic City. They screened that and they screened Under Siege. And afterwards, I asked him. I said, "So who'd win in a fight with you and Steven Seagal?" And he just said, "Yeah, I'm not answering that." But yeah, but everybody has you put enough of them in there, someone's going to go, well, let's go see for so and so, or let's go see it for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Universal Soldier, that was a good one. It was a Dolph Lundgren film too.
That was Dolph. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dolph. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Since we're still in that era here, let's see what else I got. Can't go through the 70s without talking about this guy. Come on. Hey,
Ultimate.
man, I was a little kid and, watching Lone Wolf McQuade not only kick ass, but then get buried in his Dodge and he flips the button and the supercharger comes on and he comes flying out of the dirt. I mean, man, it doesn't get any more testosterone filled than that,
He's on TikTok now. He does the Chuck Norris jokes.
Uh-huh.
Does he? Like the Norris one-liners and stuff?
When I fall out of a boat, the water gets Chuck Norris.
Or in my alien group, sometimes people will post this meme, Chuck Norris being a chest buster coming out of the alien. Well, who could ever forget that fight between him and Bruce Lee?
Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah.
Classic.
Enter the Dragon. Yeah.
Classic stuff.
I said here, what desperate actors starred in those series? Mel Gibson, Wesley Snipes, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know what? That series has become a reboot for some of these guys. Because have you noticed some of these guys' careers are slowly on the mend since the Expendables movies have come out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's given them some relevancy again. I think Mel Gibson, he's no longer in that, that negative light that he was for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Jean-Claude Van Damme has done one or two other films since then. Who knows? Maybe Wesley will be back. Maybe he'll do another Blade or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I was disappointed to learn that Blade is being redone, but it's not going to be with Wesley Snipes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jaleel White.
Great series.
Jaleel White.
Is it? Is that the guy from Urkel?
Urkel. Perfect. Did I do that?
Maybe he'll do a good job, but as much as I do that everyone who would see him do that, that's what would be in their brain the entire time.
Yes.
Ruin it.
Yeah. Love Wesley
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Love a nostalgic critic, Chuck Norris.
Delta Force.
How about Silent Runnings? You guys remember that one?
Silent Runnings?
I think it was Silent Runnings.
With Bruce Dern?
No, Chuck Norris. I think it was
I'm thinking Silent Running, the Douglas Trumbull film with little robots, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. That's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe I'm off on the name. He was a local cop, and someone had, I don't know, brainwashed or taken his guy, and I don't remember the guy, big 7-footer, and more or less, I guess, kind of turned him into some, like, scrambled his brains, turned him into some type of a zombie, and he came back and was just like a mindless killer. And the premise of it was he was just going and killing people, and he was after Chuck Norris's wife or girlfriend, I believe, and couldn't figure out how to kill him, and he kept fighting him, and finally I want to say he did like a roundhouse kick and like knocked him into a lake or something like that. Electrocuted him. I don't remember all the details, but it was yeah. I remember liking that one a lot as a kid too.
Shit, no.
Got another buddy on. Hi guys, I'm late as usual.
What was that one Chuck Norris movie? He had a machine as his partner. It was Code something back in '83.
Machine.
Yeah, he had a little robot that was his partner.
We got Good Guys Wear Black. Was that it? 1977.
No, that's early 70s.
Yeah.
Hey Connor, welcome.
Yeah.
Was that Connor? Okay, I'm drawing a blank on that, Keith.
Yeah. Dang it.
In that time period, he was doing the what were the movies? Delta Force, were they? Vietnam movies where he was going back to Vietnam.
Or what were they? Something action? Delta Force.
There was like three of them. Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Missing in Action.
Missing in Action.
That's right. Yeah.
Missing in Action. Yep.
That was like pre-Rambo stuff there.
How about Silent Rage, Nate? Would that have been it?
That's what it was. Silent Rage. Sorry, I was thinking Silent Running.
That's okay.
Silent Rage. That's it. Yeah. Yep. Oh man, I remember that film well. The main character in that just scared the daylights out of me. I was just a kid. Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that one again. Of course, I didn't watch it for a big hours, but yeah, I loved it back then.
Didn't he get the guy you were talking about, Silent Rage? Didn't he get gunned down in the beginning of the movie and they rebuilt him?
He was killed. Yes, he was killed, and it was almost like a Frankenstein story. Doctor was trying to bring him back to life, and then have him. I don't know if he was just trying to bring him back to life, and then it went bad, like in Frankenstein, or if he brought him back to life to do dirty work for him. I honestly don't remember. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Yeah, I know which one. Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Walker Texas Rangers TV series. That series had a lot of accolades to it. And I want to say when that series was on, I was probably in college or coming out of college trying to get a job, and never saw any of that. As good as what it, was always. Never saw it. Yeah.
The guy, his partner, just not too long passed away. I think he passed away last year.
Yeah.
The black guy.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was in Die Hard too. I don't know his name. His name escapes me right now. But yeah, he passed away last year. I think either that or 2 years ago.
Sniper meme comes from Lone Wolf McQuaid. The turning point of that movie was when they shot his dog. That's when he went off the deep end.
Yeah, like John Wick.
Back to his trailer, they shot his dog. Exactly.
Like John Wick.
All right, let me pull some more guys up. I did try to go further back just because I was afraid. I didn't want to get hazed for not naming somebody. So I did try and go further back and get some older guys. I don't know a lot about some of these guys. Well, we'll hit that guy in a minute. But Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum,
those, name that has always popped up. And, you hear some interviews with these other guys. A lot of them will refer back to Robert Mitchum. And he was a bit of a tough guy, a bit of a badass, apparently in real life as well. He wasn't just an actor. Apparently he kind of walked a bit of the walk there. And again, I don't have a lot of background in it. If you guys are familiar with any of his films, but there was one that definitely pops up a lot. And I've always known the name, and I've always seen scenes, maybe seen one film with him. Kind of a long time.
He was kind of just the hard-boiled gangster, private eye, whatever you needed him to be. He was the original in the original Cape Fear.
Yeah,
he was Max Cady. He was the De Niro character.
Yeah,
and he makes De Niro look like a puppy dog in Cape Fear. he remade The Big Sleep, Farewell, My Lovely. He was just your typical tough guy, and he also narrated Tombstone. So.
And
Oh,
he was
no, really? I had never known that.
Night of the Hunter is like one of my
Yeah,
favorites with him. And yeah, man, he was off his rocker in that one. Night of the Hunter. That's
Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. I didn't cut you off. Since you guys got these older guys back, I had to bring back some bigger classics too. I had to throw this one up because I knew if I threw this one up, if I didn't throw this one up, I'd be burned at the stake for this one.
The Duke.
The Duke.
The Duke.
Can't deny him. Again, I was young, but definitely a couple of his films that stuck out for me. Rooster Cogburn, even though he was older. What was it, Sand of Iwo Jima? I remember watching that one quite a few times.
Green Berets.
Green Berets, yeah.
Searchers.
Oh yeah.
I did see a lot of his early westerns. And to be honest with you, I was kind of biased against him because at the time I was an Eastwood fan, and these guys hated Clint Eastwood. They thought he was a rookie, and didn't have the street cred, and because of that, I didn't want to like him. I didn't want to watch his films because I liked Eastwood so much. I couldn't understand how he and some of the older crew just hated him. Publicly would tell him.
And then when he got tired of riding horses, he did like Brannigan and McHugh. He was he was a private eye, but still a tough guy, and still John Wayne.
Yeah.
The Duke.
Yeah. And I think the tough guy has really changed. I think if you look at these early guys, it was a lot of their persona. And yeah, they were rough and tough and got into fights and did this and that. But you look now and it's like, your modern tough guy is like 7% body fatty, crazy muscles and athletic, where not that these guys weren't. These guys were specimens, especially for their time period and their age, but I think it was more hard-nosed, like persona and attitude and demeanor than it was just as much the physicality of it. These guys. Even going back, I even pulled up James Cagney here.
Cagney.
Definitely, another one.
He was a dancer. He was a dancer. How tough could he be? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sure Donna could chime in, but the stories that I've read about him he was on Martha's Vineyard. He retired and went to Martha's Vineyard. Wasn't the most neighborly guy. He was, I believe, Craig Kingsbury. I saw a couple of interviews of Craig Kingsbury talking about Cagney. He said he just didn't want to be messed with. He didn't want people, showing up at his house and yeah. So
I could definitely see that. Sometimes you can peek into a person's personality, like what they portray on screen. I can definitely see that in James Cagney.
Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster is another one.
Sure.
Another one. Him and he and Kirk Douglas did a film actually called Tough Guys. Yeah.
Called Tough Guys. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The original. Right? Yeah.
Wasn't he in Field of Dreams?
Yes. He's Doc.
Yeah.
He's the doctor.
What else I got here? All right, I got to bring up some relevancy with this guy because comes off as a tough guy. A little bit he always reminded me more of like an anti-hero kind of guy as well. Willis and a lot in a bunch of his films. He was never quite, he wasn't going to come in wearing the white suit and the white hat, but he wasn't wearing black either. He was often he had that grayness to him. He had that darkness to him.
He was
Even
always
in his top movies.
He was always a reluctant hero.
Yeah.
He was always like, oh God, I've got to do this, or I'll do that, or I got to go blow up an asteroid, or I got to throw Hans Gruber off the top of the building. But he never, even in the last couple Die Hards were kind of dumb, but even up to Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, he was just minding his own business, and he got brought into these situations. Same with Armageddon.
Mhm.
Even I went over what's the one with Samuel L. Jackson. Un,
Unforgiven?
no,
No.
I always say
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
That was
Unbreakable.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a security guard doing his job, and all of a sudden, it turns out he.
Mhm.
Yeah.
he always had that look, like when they came to him because he was the man that was going to take care of the problem. He
Right.
wasn't happy. He wasn't accepting the challenge. He looked like he just stepped in crap out in the yard with bare feet. You know what I mean? He was like,
Or even we watched it last week, Last Boy Scout, the Tony Scott film.
Yeah.
oh, great film.
Yes.
Great film. Same
Yes.
deal.
Yes.
Same deal. And he was always like half an alcoholic,
Yeah.
chain smoking, I mean, no, lived in like, a camper or something. I mean, always, that's what I always liked about his characters.
Yeah.
He was never, didn't pull up in a muscle car. He wasn't, stacked with muscles and getting everyone's attention. He was just an everyman who was a little bit down on his luck. And, like you said, wasn't graciously accepting what he had to do, but he did it.
Yeah. Sort of like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Like a reluctant hero.
Do you know who had to turn down? Oh, I like Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
Hudson
I
Hawk.
like Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk, yeah.
Do you know who had to turn down the role of John McClane before Bruce Willis could do it?
Who's that?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
Really?
Frank Sinatra did a film called The Detective, and part of his contract stated that if they made any more movies based on the novel of the guy who wrote The Detective, he was asked first. I think his name was Roderick Thorpe, maybe. Victor, fact check me. But the book that he wrote, they based Die Hard on, and Sinatra had to turn it down. And while I think a 75-year-old Frank Sinatra would have been great, why is Willis always a cop? Because he's believable. Not always a cop. He wasn't a cop in The Sixth Sense. He wasn't a cop in Pulp Fiction. But every other movie he's been in, he's been a cop. So.
Yes, Boy Scout.
Yep.
I have to agree with wait, where is it here? Death Wish remake. That was good. I like that. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Death Wish. Red was good.
It was good. I mean, I love Bronson, but I gotta say Willis did a pretty good job with it, because when I first saw it was being remade, I was like, no, I'm not gonna go see it. But
same here. I wasn't going to watch it, but then I got an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio. And so I said, well, I might as well see what I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, they really did a good job.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. The only movie I gotta say I didn't really appreciate with him was Looper. That was the only one I wasn't a big fan of.
Really?
I don't know. It wasn't bad. It just didn't do anything for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm just getting all these names going on in my head. Is that the one with the kid that was in the last the Dark Knight Return, or the last man? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Okay, I'm not losing.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he was like the young Bruce Willis. Yeah, that was odd. I wasn't a fan.
I wasn't a big fan either. That one. What was the one space one he did? He was like a taxi driver in space, and
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Yeah,
I was not a fan of that.
No.
Tried to be.
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys was all right. I was okay with that one. Him and Brad Pitt.
Terry Gilliam's film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was okay with that.
Yeah, that was a crazy movie. That was just a bit off. 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, and the reports of where he's at right now, and apparently things are progressing rather quickly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame they were really beating him up, because he was kind of going down some of like the Steven Seagal, Burt Reynolds kind of path with doing a lot of your video movies and things. And of course, now you find out he was simply just trying to make sure probably that everyone was financially secure.
Yeah. Take care of your family.
So really says a lot about him as a person.
But the guy has been in a lot of movies. I would go to the video store, right, and rent movies, and I would see a movie with him on the cover. I'm like, there's another Bruce Willis movie? I didn't know he did this. I didn't know he did this.
Yeah, that you never heard of. Yeah.
That I never heard of. The guy was in a
Yeah,
lot of movies.
Die
No,
Hard.
Robert says that in Japan, Die Hard is called The Reluctant Hero.
Hey.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, they probably get, John McClane, let's defeat his enemies. But he had
No shoes.
no shoes. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He beats all his guys with a pack of cigarettes. He always has a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
He always has a Colt 45, and he always has half a roll of duct tape. That's what he beats everybody.
He doesn't own a razor.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder how Die Hard was received though over in Japan, because you got Nakatomi Plaza and Mr. Tagachi. Yeah, I always wonder. I see they edited different over there, because I remember the one thing that stuck out to me when I saw Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. When Bruce Lee is over in China and he's approached by Raymond Chow, he says, over here the Green Hornet is called the Kato Show, and it's edited differently, so it's more Kato with the Green Hornet as his assistant. So,
Interesting.
Of course.
Let me flip something else up. So I tried to pull up some guys that I want to say are film tough guys, but I'm calling these guys honorable mentions. Guys that were definitely there, or maybe were there, didn't have as much lasting power, or didn't have as many, leading roles, but I think did a great job. And then a couple of these guys you recognize, a couple of these guys, well, you should recognize all these guys. I tried to find a little bit more obscure pictures of them. So, looking at it, Dolph Lundgren. Always. Even when he did Shark Lake a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He was the leading cop. The tough guy. Universal Soldier, obviously.
And
Rocky.
Supposedly the smartest person to ever come out of MIT.
Yes. Yeah, incredibly intelligent.
Like if Good Will Hunting was 6'8". Yeah, he's
incredibly intelligent, and I think it's still never been released here. Was the original Punisher? Yeah, he did a Punisher movie, and it never got released here. I want to say if it was released, it was maybe only released in Europe. Dyed his hair black, the whole deal. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Was he in He-Man?
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah, he was in He-Man as well.
With Frank Langella as Skeletor. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was in He-Man, and he's done a handful of other films here and there. Every once in a while, you just happen to see his name or his face pop up. And then obviously Expendables, he was very good in too. But he played the big, dumb, tough guy, complete opposite of who he is. And the guy's incredibly articulate. Still, I mean, you look at that, that's a picture of him just a handful of years ago. Still in amazing condition. Has a very big martial arts background. He's got, I don't know, crazy 2 doctorates or something. Speaks like 5 or 6 languages.
Well, I liked him in Creed 2. I thought he was great.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
A little more emotional role.
Played the boxer's dad.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He was training his son. Yeah. And I had to put Carl Weathers up there. Carl Weathers has been in some good action films. Predator, Force 10 from Navarone. I mean,
classic there.
And his breakout, unfortunately, was a failure. Action Jackson.
I like Action Jackson. I wanted
movie. Loved it.
Action Jackson was good.
He didn't have as many one-liners as Wesley Snipes did, but man, it was a good film. The only thing that sucked in that movie was they took a Pontiac Fiero and tried to make it look like a high-end sports car. Other than that, it was a good film. That was a great movie, man. Come on.
I loved
it.
Jackson.
Action Jackson. It was that we thought for sure when that came out, like he was going to be the next big break, and it just never happened, unfortunately.
It was like him, and then Fred Ward did the Remo Williams film. It was like the same studio, and they were both supposed to be tent poles for movies that would go on forever, and neither of them did well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a shame. That was a real shame.
Who was the girl that was in Action Jackson? Was that
Sharon
Apollonia?
Stone? I want to say Sharon Stone. Was she in it?
Was she? Was that? I think she was a.
I think she was like the bad girl.
Like
I don't remember who else was in that though. I'd have to go back and look. And I had that. I had that on VCR, man. I had that on tape. Yeah. Yeah, my buddies would watch it. And then when I was older, we'd break it out and have a couple of drinks and watch it.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson, man. What was his key phrase? He said it like 3 times in the film.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going to have to look it up here, guys.
Vanity. Vanity was his girl in Action Jackson.
Vanity. Yeah, Vanity. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm going to look this up quick. This is going to kill me now.
Carl Weathers. You know, he had a bit part in Close Encounters.
Yeah, he's the cop that stops Dreyfus when he's trying to get the Devil's Tower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the army soldier.
Yeah. Just a wee bit part.
I'm not seeing it. I'm going to have to look it up later and get back. But yeah,
was it Mellow Out? That's the only quote I could find. Mellow Out.
Yeah, he had a couple other things that he said, but I thought there was one he said like 3 different times in the movie, or 2 different times. Like once at the beginning, once at the end, with the hopes that was going to be the next big one-liner, and I don't remember. So
yeah,
I had to put Harrison Ford in there, and I threw an obscure picture in there because whether or not you want to classify him as a tough guy, he definitely, in all his roles, he was always very, very, very dry with his delivery. And never played like a clean cut. You know, he's had a little bit of an attitude about things. Even Star Wars, he was a smart ass. I mean, he really was. He was, kind of a modern gunslinger, and gun toter, and
very reluctant.
You loved him for it.
Very reluctant. Even the Raiders films, Air Force One, Witness, always kind of reluctant. The Patriot games.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, same deal.
Blade Runner, yeah.
Blade Runner,
yeah. And even played some awesome, serious roles. Like what was it, Henry? Where he had
Regarding Henry.
Regarding Henry.
Yeah.
Amazing film.
Yes.
I mean, incredible.
Mosquito Coast.
Yeah.
Mosquito Coast is good. Frantic is good. Yeah.
What's the one he was presumed innocent? Love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even other things he did. What was it? Like Sabrina or whatever. Love Story. You remember that one?
Yep.
That as well. He always did really good stuff. I threw a picture up there. I threw an early picture up there of Burt Reynolds. And Burt Reynolds, I mean, real deal. I mean, he was a stuntman before he ever got into, having any actual roles in movies. And
that's his own. That's his real hair too.
That is. That's when he had it too. No facial hair there. That was an early Burt Reynolds. I think the last time he had his real hair was, what do you think, Deliverance?
Deliverance.
Probably the last time.
Yeah. Because I think right after that was like Gator or WW, the Dixie Dance Kings, and he had a full head of hair again. And that's what kind of, I think, took him off, made him honorable mention, didn't put him up on the podium, because he started doing, the good old boy movies, Smoking the Bandits and Cannonball Run. Stroker Ace.
Remember that one? Yeah.
Hooper.
Heroes. Yeah. Heroes. Great movie.
Yeah. Hooper. Yeah.
I love Hooper.
Hooper's, yeah. Jan Michael Vincent, another guy could be honorable mention.
Yeah. Jan Michael Vincent. Calling the cops an old fart.
Yeah. Never credit Liz Harrison Ford so much. He was never able to find a relationship.
Wow,
Oh.
interesting.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, you know, if
Yeah.
you can't find anyone that looks like Harrison Ford, you can always buy a mask, right?
There you go.
Right.
Pick up a Halloween mask. Pick up a Star Wars Halloween. Here, honey, wear this, would you?
Yes.
Ah, cross the line on that one. I had to throw that one in there. Oh man! Wow. All right. Deliverance was ruined because of the subject matter. Yeah, Deliverance went down a lot of dark paths.
Yeah.
A lot of dark paths.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that crossed over with like The Hills Have Eyes at times. You know, it was. Yeah. That really got to a lot of things that people just didn't want to talk about, let alone sit and watch it on screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another huge cast too. Yeah.
And finally, I'm guessing that Danny Trejo.
It is
Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at his background. I mean, he's served jail time, and he walked a bit of the walk too. You know. Yeah, and has done a lot of stuff. Yeah, and I think oftentimes with these like supporting roles, he started getting definitely some more of his own. I've watched some of his newer stuff like Machete and those things. And, yeah, they've done pretty well. Yeah, it's a popcorn movie. You sit and watch it, and enjoy it. You know.
that was a Grindhouse movie, wasn't it? With
Yeah, Machete.
Yes, I think it was. Yes,
Machete.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Machete don't text. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Con Air too when he's Johnny.
Oh, he was Johnny 23.
Johnny 23. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After Deliverance, I never ate bacon again. After Deliverance, a lot of people didn't do things. Didn't go down south.
Your dick
You
jumps
stopped
out of your
going in
pants.
a
You jump
canoe.
out of this plane. Yeah. Yeah.
You stopped wearing bib overalls. There were a lot of things that stopped happening after that movie.
Well, Ned Beatty filmed Homicide in Baltimore, and if he was there for the weekend, he'd come to the theater, and the fans would like recognize him. They wouldn't say, "Hey, Superman," "Hey, this," "Hey, Network." They would see him across the lobby, and they would all go, "Wee!"
Oh my gosh!
He took it. He took it in good stride. He'd wave. He'd laugh. He took it in good stride. But yeah. Like,
Wow!
You got like 2 Oscar nominations. You know.
I'd have way too much respect for no matter who it was to do that in public. Wow,
man,
that's kind of scary in itself.
To be remembered for that.
Oh, and reminded of that. That's the bad part about it.
You know? Right. Oh.
Yuck. Well, I wanted to bring up a little bit of, and we touched on some of these guys already, but guys who did walk the walk. So guys who were tough guys in real life before they even got into films. And there's a handful that I rattled off the top of my head, but way more than what's on here. And some we've talked about already. Bruce Lee. I mean, that's what he was, you know, and that's what made him, you know, and that's what got him going. And who knows where he would have been, you know, now, let's say, if he hadn't died so tragically, where he would have been, you know, doing now. It's unbelievable because I think what he did went way beyond just his physical abilities. He had the attitude he was going to do well. You know?
Oh, yeah.
ESPN had a documentary last year called Like Water, and it was about him. And if you have the Dragon, the Legend of Story of Bruce Lee, the Laserdisc, they had an interview of him on some television show, and he is the most profound, intelligent man I've ever heard speak.
Yes.
He just had his life goals, and he had his philosophy, and nothing was going to stand in the way.
And boy, did he have his philosophy. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Constitution like nobody you've ever seen. You know?
Yes. That guy had
That's why a lot of people are kind of upset the way Tarantino portrayed him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because anybody that has known him, written about him after that, said that Bruce was never like that. So
never hot-headed, not a hot shot kind of guy. Yeah.
Funny scene though.
Yeah. It was a good movie. To be honest with you, it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good. A lot of people played their parts very well. Brad Pitt included. Really. Yeah.
Who's the girl that played Sharon Tate?
Oh, Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ending of the film, you just love that the Manson family got it for once. I was like, oh my gosh. That really went down on you.
It's such a mind blank because the whole thing you're thinking, okay, here it is. All right.
Yeah.
Here they come. They're coming to kill everybody. It's like, oh, you're in the wrong damn house. Yeah. I guess Margot Robbie actually wore Sharon Tate's sister, let her wear Sharon Tate's jewelry.
Wow.
Yeah. Really?
Wow.
Because the film was really almost a love letter to Sharon Tate and the talent she was and the talent she could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I remember after that came out, they were people were posting memes like the Chinatown poster, but instead of Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway, it was Rick Dalton and Sharon Tate.
Mm.
Yeah.
We got Brad Pitt now holds the record for the shortest cameo by A-list actor in Deadpool 2. I did not know he was in Deadpool 2.
Shorter than Matt Damon in the Thor movie where they're doing the play with Loki on stage and he plays Loki because he was Loki in Dogma.
Yes, that's right.
I'll have to look for that now. I'll have to watch Deadpool 2 again. Look for Brad Pitt.
Or shorter than, oh gosh, what movie was it?
Shorter than Sylvester Stallone walking down the street and staying alive and getting bumped into. Like 8 seconds. Yeah.
What movie was it that Steven Seagal was in the beginning for like 20 seconds? They were going up because was it Air Force One or something like that?
Oh,
plane got hijacked.
No, not on Deadly Ground. That was a crappy one.
Executive Decision.
Executive Decision with Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Executive Decision.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal's in it, and then gets blown away there trying to get inside the plane to save everybody. Yeah.
That totally shocked me. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm looking at the cover. I'm like, oh, okay, he's not the star. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
37 frames.
They put him on the cellar.
Right.
37 frames because the Vanisher collides with some power lines and gets electrocuted. Brad Pitt was the Vanisher. Oh, I had no idea. I'll go back and watch that. No clue that's who that was.
Oh.
Good. Robert's fact.
Good.
Robert, that's yours, buddy. On that one. Yeah. I got Randy Coulter there. Another real life tough guy. Wrestling background. I want to say, what was it? He was in MMA fighting, and I think did like WWF wrestling and stuff like that before he ever got into movies. I mean, the only movies I know him from, and I'm sure he's done other ones, was the Expendables movies. And I'm sure he's done other things in that. Just can't say I'm really familiar with it, but did a great job and always kind of downplayed his characters and who he was. Kind of had the whole, speak softly but carry a big stick kind of attitude. Anytime you saw him on the screen, or somebody was always making fun of his cauliflower ears every time he was on the screen. So maybe she's about that, I guess. So, but he earned those ears. You don't get those by sitting around playing video games. I mean,
right, absolutely.
Yeah, very distinctive. Yeah, and then down at the bottom right, I tried to throw an early picture of that guy up. Well, actually, probably one of my earliest memories of seeing him in a film. And that would have been the Dirty Dozen. Great film.
Lee Marvin. Yeah. Nope. That had great cast in that movie. That had who's the Dirty Dozen? Yeah, Lee Marvin.
Everybody. Kelly Savalas. I mean, everybody was in that movie.
Kelly Savalas, yeah.
Savalas, Trini Lopez. Yeah. James Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Jim Brown, actually, not
Jim Brown.
James Brown, not the singer,
not James Brown.
Not James Brown.
Hey, James Brown. Wow. Happy you. Oh my gosh. When when I hear that now, I think of when he did that one national interview in the news. And he had big safety glasses on, and
Yeah.
apparently was intoxicated or something. He would not answer any straight questions. He would just do song quotes. The question. James Brown, are you running drugs? I feel good. He would answer them. It was great. Oh my God. Papa's got a brand new bag. You're throwing them all out. He's just total avoidance. Total avoidance. Yeah.
Oh,
Hilarious stuff. Yeah. So.
oh man.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I had a blast on that
Yeah.
show, guys.
Yeah.
Blast on that show. Very nice. A lot of fun. Yes. And we're gonna leave it at that. And I was gonna talk about modern ones, but they're all out now. You can go see and enjoy them. I want to hit on some of these old guys.
Right. Bring up the old
Especially
school one.
Next time we'll have to do one about villains.
Hey.
there we go. That would be
There
a
you
good
go.
one.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Villains
Yeah.
and even we're supporting actors or something along those lines. So
Yeah.
thank you guys, and I want to thank the two of you because without the two of you, it would be a boring show because you guys bring the facts to the table. Yeah.
Team
Hey,
effort.
I'm the coffee. I'm the goalie. If it's coming to me, I kick you back in the play. You guys bring the facts down, so I always appreciate it, and it's always an education for me. And I want to thank you guys both. And Keith, great having you on again.
Yes, sir.
We got to definitely got to get you back on some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Mike, when you said team, you kind of took me back to the Untouchables. Team. You remember Robert De Niro? Speaking of villains.
Behind. Hit us in the back of the head.
Team.
I was going to say right when he has the bat.
Yeah. I get nowhere if the team loses.
My favorite one was, did he sound like that? He throws him off the Empire State Building or whatever. Yeah.
Where's Frank
Robert, study hard. Study hard. We'll see you back. Watch the repeats. Watch us on YouTube.
Yep.
Do well. We'll catch you around the holidays. Thank you very much, guys. Had a great night. You guys have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we'll see you back next Thursday.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Signing off. Take care.